But I mean, you just talking about an overall. Oof, like I said, it's really debatable. That's tough. I would have to see stat for stat, like who,
Yeah,
like what
that's why I say you gotta
Kyrie is
compare.
doing and what AI really did to say who. But like I said,
A
I don't
strong
know. But
case.
listen, you
To play
talking about a
devil's advocate.
teammate, you gassing somebody up.
Yeah. To
Mm-hmm.
be devil's advocate for AI, you could make a strong case for AI because AI by himself was able, I want to say by himself, but he was able to carry a team into like to the finals to play against the 0-1 Lakers, while Kyrie kind of struggled by himself to like with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Cleveland Cavaliers is a really really bad franchise. So that's a hard strike against Kyrie overall because he was trying to make the team go like ascend to playoffs before LeBron James came, but that's a nod on Allen Iverson's a feather in his cap because he was able to
Mm-hmm.
take that team to the playoffs and get a game off the 0-1 Lakers when they were just destroying everyone in the playoffs. They're the only team that had a win
But
against them in the playoffs.
that's true. But listen, I mean, you had also Kyrie was also on Boston, and he couldn't do it there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I really just don't feel like AI can carry a team on his own. And I mean, a
AI or
lot of people
Kyrie?
at I mean now Kyrie Kyrie cannot carry a team on his own.
No, he can't. He
But
can't. He needs.
I mean the landscape of the NBA right now, that's just a lot of players. I mean a lot of a lot of players are not able to do it on their own, so they join super teams. And
Yeah,
whatever. It's the way of the NBA right now. But at the end of the day, when you talk about I mean now NBA nowadays, honestly, anyways, is soft compared
yeah,
to back in the day. So I don't think you can put any of the NBA players now in what in back in the day teams to say, oh yeah, go out there and win it on your own. It ain't happening. It ain't
yeah.
happening.
That's not happening.
So
Those days are gone.
it, you just talk about, and this is why I say I don't know. I think I give the edge ultimately to AI because he was in an era where, like, yo, I'm punching you in your mouth, and guess what? You got to get back up to
It's
that
tough.
very same moment. Yeah,
He
you
played in
got
a
to get
tough
back
era.
up right now to play.
The one thing that could that's like a definite like drop the hammer moment, like yo, AI is better than Kyrie, is AI won an MVP and Kyrie didn't.
True, true. So it really speaks to you and tell you, listen, AI is on this terrible team, but he's bringing his team to the playoffs. He's bringing his team to the finals, and like is I mean he's showing why like yo he is that boy. Like I mean Kyrie, I ain't gonna lie, he ain't doing that. He's
Yeah,
showing how he's a cancer. How like yeah,
yeah.
hey listen, I don't want to do this. Okay, well, but
But it's just
overall, like I said, he
it's kind of like the wide receiver diva effect, such as AB, which we're gonna
oh
get into
man,
later on. But it's like the bigger the talent, the bigger the headache. You know what I'm trying to say?
that is true. That is true.
So
And I
like
ain't gonna lie, can't stand those type players. But it is what it is.
yeah, but
You
it's like
gotta.
their talent is worth their weight in gold. So you want to deal with it.
That is, yeah. Well, I don't know about. Well, yeah, ABs as well. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But
Yeah, yeah.
listen, I just feel. I just really feel. Like I said, KD was being a really good teammate by gassing up his boy. On his return and saying what he's saying, so that he can have that bit of motivation and that bit of
Of course, of
oh
course,
yeah, I'm that guy, huh? We'll, we'll see though. We'll see.
of
Time will
course.
tell. Listen, he game one back, under his belt, so we'll see. But
22 points is good.
here's what I was getting to. Yeah, it was good. It was good. He did his thing. But this is what I was getting to earlier, right? So he's coming back, and they got this. They're number two. So right now they're locked for playoffs. I mean, home court advantage in round one. But if they have home court advantage, he cannot play in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's going to play on the road
So
games.
he can only play road games. And that's crazy to think that, listen, you've worked your way back, right? But you cannot play home games unless you got the PK. You know, we can't say the other stuff, but you know, unless you got the PK,
the jab,
you can't play home games. Yeah, if you ain't got the dab, you can't play
yeah.
home games. So how does that work? Like, how? That's crazy to me.
So the first 2 games are going to be at home. He's going to have to sit it out. And when they head back on the road against whoever team, like let's just say the playoffs were to finish right now, they will have to play the Toronto Raptors. So
Toronto.
Yeah, he was going to go to Toronto in game 3. My apologies. He was going to game 3 and 4. And then when they head back to Brooklyn, he's not going to be there. And then he's going to come back game 6. That's if they even go that far. Me personally, they should be able to relatively beat the Raptors within 5.
I don't know. Well, 5, yeah. But you know, honestly, they would have to pray and play their butts off to get a sweep, because it's not the same Raptors of the past, but it's still, listen, you can't sleep on any team once it comes playoff time.
Of course.
Playoff time, that's when they put their big boy pants on. That's when they say, hey, listen, this is what we really getting paid the big bucks for.
Yeah.
So
the playoffs,
you know, you're not gonna be.
What?
No, so this is what they're not playing just to play against the 15 players on a team. You got to understand, you got the 15 plus that reserve guy or girl by the name of COVID, right? That is a factor. It's not like, all right, playoff time coming around, COVID is not a factor anymore. Nah.
Exactly. Yeah.
COVID is still a factor. So it's like, all right, we can't anticipate that KD or James Harden is going to be, you know, having to sit because of protocol.
Exactly.
Like, yo, if they have to sit, now you're not only talking about not having one of those two, but you also, obviously in Brooklyn, not going to have Kyrie. So now you down 2, maybe 3 of your stars.
He's quote unquote not vax, so he's more susceptible to possibly be pulled for health and safety protocols. So
correct.
That's a factor
so
in
that's,
itself. And they
so
were making they were making jokes about it too, how like there was like Jason Kidd might get a 10-day contract, or Dwayne Wade might get a 10-day contract, and Dirk Nowitzki he had his jersey better raised the other night, and they were talking about, hey, we'll give you a 10-day contract. So that's just how it's looking right now with the health and safety protocol with COVID striking the NBA.
Yeah, it's listen, it's going to be a ridiculous thing to have to sit here and look and see what happens between now and then, because listen, like you said, the them being able to gel is one thing. Them being able to like get it, you know, all put together in season is one thing. But in playoff time, when like I said, it really matters. If they have not really gelled enough, it's going to show come playoff time, because you only have this guy 2 games, you know. Well, let's say you only have him on the road, because you never know. It could be 2, it could be 3 games on the road, or at home, that they're there. So you don't know. It could be 4 if they go on 7 games. But it's like, yo, how do we ultimately work this guy into our roster to where come end of the season, rolling into playoffs, we can guarantee that, listen, we don't need this guy game 1 and 2 at home, but on the road, yes, we have him, but we need him to the point where we're closing out the series on the road, because we don't want to have to go back home in a game 5 situation and not win it. So it's like, man, hopefully they can figure that out, but that's just a whole different, you know,
the worst case
dynamic
scenario.
ball game that you got to talk about.
The worst case scenario is if they make it to the Eastern Conference Final or the NBA Finals, and let's just hypothetically say there's a Game 7 that he can't play because the Brooklyn Nets have home court advantage, then the Nets are in trouble. Like, let's just keep it a buck. They're in trouble. Because if there's a Game 7 and he can't play, and they so happen to lose because of that, the media is going to destroy Kyrie.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because they're gonna hold this
And that
against him
sucks.
for the rest of his career. They're gonna be like, you had an opportunity to win an NBA title because you didn't want to get vaxxed, and you decided to not get the jab for whatever reason, which is his choice. Like, we can't force anybody to do what they don't want to do, because I wouldn't want them to do that to me.
Nope.
So I'm not holding that against Kyrie, but the media is not, because they've been promoting the jab or anything like that. So.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, and Kyrie, KD actually said it too about he was asked the other day, will you what do you think about forcing, Kyrie to take the vaccine? He was like, man, listen, I would never want to do something like that. Like, that's that man's personal, beliefs. I can't force him to do something like that. Nobody should force anybody to do something like that.
Exactly.
Why? Because that's that man's personal belief. So, listen, I stand with him, and I agree. And listen, at the end of the day, he a grown man. If the man say no, like, what can you do? Exactly. If you telling me I'm not gonna have my career because of it, then hey, listen. Oh well. I mean, we talked about that last episode, man. Listen, of course, so be it. If I'm not able to, then so be it.
I just don't like how the media is making personal attacks at him about his character, about his intelligence, because the comment about the earth is flat. Like, I feel like that's unnecessary. If he doesn't want to take the jab, he shouldn't be cajoled and forced to do it. Like, I understand he has a job as an NBA player, but I'm pretty sure he made enough money where he could potentially retire right now comfortably. He could open businesses. He has sponsorships and endorsement deals where he can be set for life. His family can be set for life. But I do understand the severity of the situation that the Brooklyn Nets are in striking distance of potentially winning their first ever NBA title. So for their franchise history. So I understand the seriousness there, but it's just a complicated situation because, like, you don't want to take the job, but at the same time, it's like your job is they're not forcing you to, but they're backing you down into a corner saying we're not gonna pay you money which you need to basically live and survive and take care of your family unless you take that job. So it's like a low level force in a way. You get it?
Yeah. And listen, once again, at the end of the day, you can't force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. And if that's that person's livelihood and it dictates what's going to happen after that, then hey, you as a person, you got to make that determination on whether or not that's going to hurt you to say, hey, I'm out, or just say, hey, listen, you know what, on to the next. It is what it is. If it hurts me, it hurts me, but I gotta live right for me and my family, and me not taking this is what's gonna be right for me. So it is what it is.
At the end of the day, you do what's best for you and your family. Bump what we saying, what the media saying, what everybody else saying. So
hey, that's once again, that's ultimately what it boils down to. But so here's, as we listen, once again, the NBA season, I'm not gonna lie, I'm waiting, I'm ready to see what's this thing called, All-Star break. Last year they didn't really have, they didn't have All-Star break last year.
I feel like the All-Star break kind of came and went. They kind of squeezed in everything. It's like a couple of days because they didn't want it to stretch out like I used to be like the past 3 days because they're trying to mitigate COVID as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
I just hope they still have at least the the 3-point contest. I ain't too much like whatever. The dunk contest, I prefer
came
to
in wet.
really see that.
It came in wet
I
last
would
year.
love to
They
see,
literally they literally squeezed the dunk contest during halftime of the All-Star game.
yeah. I didn't like that. Now,
Yeah.
so to be honest, I would be okay if they did not have an All-Star game. Why? Because I just think that is nothing but fanfare.
Yeah,
Like
it's just an NBA
nobody,
showpiece.
yeah, that like the main thing should be skills challenges, the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, those sort of things. The game, like they don't really care about that no more. They don't be playing defense. Like they don't really care.
They
Like
don't play defense
if
until like the
the
last couple of minutes.
yeah, and if the end result of the game is whatever winning team gets X amount of dollars for charity,
Charity.
yo, just go give the money to the charity. Why you gotta, why do you gotta play for it? Like, yo, all right, listen. The East wanted this to raise money for this charity. The West wanted to raise this money for this charity. All right, here you go. Here go a check to those charities. Like, good luck. I mean, good job. But to have that whole game where once again nobody's actually playing is pointless to me.
Yeah,
So
but
I don't know. I just
you gotta understand though, because we want competitive All-Star games like how it used to be back in the 90s when Jordan was playing. But at the same time, I don't want me personally. I don't want like as a Miami Heat fan. I wouldn't want Jimmy Butler going hard in the All-Star game and he mess around gets injured in a pointless All-Star game. Feel me?
and that's what I'm saying. So it's like, well, you know what? Honestly, NBA is a lot more. It's a lot harder for them to get injured than it is in the NFL. So
Yeah,
but then again, the NFL is smart. They don't have their Pro Bowl in the middle of the year. They have it at the end of the year. So if anybody get injured, then you got the off season to recover. But the
yeah,
NBA, obviously mid season, anybody get injured, then good luck. But
exactly.
I just don't, like I said, I don't understand why they still having the All-Star game when at the end of it all nobody's actually playing 100. Like, who cares? Have
Yeah,
the dunk
I hate
contest,
seeing them
have
type
the
of story,
3-point
man.
contest. Yeah. Like, have the dunk contest and the 3-point contest and call it a day.
Or the skills challenge and the
Um yeah, or the skills challenge and then call it a day. Then call it a day. But I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, I don't get paid those big bucks to make those decisions. So we'll see. NBA season, let it just continue to unfold, and whatever happens, happens. And we will be here to talk about it. We will
of
be here
course.
to talk.